Hello and welcome back to TGTV, and more specifically, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Goodwood Motor Circuit. I'm stood aloft here because my new car is right there. This is a car that I've wanted for over 15 years now, ever since I first saw it revealed. And I can't quite believe this is real, to be honest. So without further waffle, for once on this channel, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my new car. So walk around time then. Please excuse me if I get a bit excited. I'll try not to cry, but this doesn't feel real to me. I'm on the start line at Goodwood Motor Circuit. The whole place is mine today, and I'm revealing my Carrera GT. So for me, this is surreal, so apologies if I'm talking too quickly. As I say though, I'll try not to cry. Anyway, let's get onto the car. This is quite obviously then a Porsche Carrera GT. I'm sure we've covered that. This is actually a very rare spec. The colour on this car is jet black. It is a UK car in jet black. One of only, I think, 2 examples. I'm sure people will be trying to correct me now, but there's only 2 examples, I believe, that are known of UK cars in jet black. The majority of black Carrera GTs you see are actually a basalt black, which is a metallic fleck. It's kind of almost a dark grey in sunlight. This is completely solid black, a very, very rare colour. Anyway, coming around the car then. As you all know by now, I love silver wheels, so we've got GT Silver metallic wheels. Again, GT Silver was actually a colour made for the Carrera GT, and most Carrera GTs are actually in that colour, and the wheels were matching, but I've opted obviously for silver wheels here. I just think it sets off with the black very nicely, and the aluminium accents all throughout the car. So interior then, just poking through here, we'll find the door handle, somewhere under here, here we go. You'll see there is a mishmash of aluminium, sort of silvery parts on here, carbon fibre and ascot brown. Ascot brown was something I really, really wanted on the Carrera GT. It was just, I think it's synonymous with the car, and it's what the car was launched with. Not only that, through there we've got a beechwood steering wheel, harking back to the 917 and all the Porsche's kind of historic racing heritage. Closing the door then, let's come around the car. I do apologise for the noise. We are at a motor circuit, so there's racing cars flying around all over the place. I've left the wing up. This is in the... Shut up! Shut up! This is in kind of the race position, or whatever it's called, race mode. You can see here there's carbon struts though, and apparently actually if you leave the car sitting around with this up, it's actually not very good for the car long term. So this is up for now, just for the shoot, but it will be going back down again. So around the back of the car then, all very standard stuff. This car is completely stock, as the Carrera GT I think should be. All very standard, you know what they look like, but one of my favourite things about the back of the car, you'll notice that the number plate from my Aventador SV is now on this car. This car is replacing my Aventador SV that I sold many, many, many moons ago now. It's taken me that long to find a proper Carrera GT, one that hasn't been shunted, one that isn't just an absolute wreck, one that hasn't come from abroad and has got weird history. It's a really difficult car to find the right example of. It's taken me that long, and I can't believe this day's even come. There were points during my search that I thought this wouldn't actually happen. So I've been quite kind of distant about it on social media. I've not teased it too much because truthfully, I didn't know this was even going to happen. I didn't know whether I could actually go ahead and get it. The funding of it as well, that has been another thing that's obviously not easy. But I just want to say a huge shout out to Charles and Dean, the guys that actually funded this car for me. They did the finance. This is a really, really difficult car to fund. In terms of the asset and what the loan is secured against, it is a very, very complicated car. Obviously, they've been around for about 15 years now, so there are lots of cars on the market. They've got dodgy history, they've been in shunts, and then being carbon tubbed as well. If it's been in a shunt, the whole car is basically, you know, it's about 100 grand, 200 grand bill on it. So you've got to be really careful with it. And as I say, not an easy car to fund. So I just want to say a huge thank you to Charles and Dean. I'll leave their details below. If you are looking to fund a supercar, they don't just do hypercars or even sports cars. Do give them a shout. Super, super, super top guys. And they were very, very patient with it. And they smashed it basically, so massive thanks to them. Anyway, let's go around the car a little bit more. Let's have a little look. What else is there to tell you? Obviously with the Carrera GT, you've got these anodized center locks here. On the left-hand side, they are red, and on the right-hand side, they are blue. That, I believe, is kind of harking back to racing heritage, so mechanics knew which side of the car the wheels were on. Very simple system there. Left is red, right is blue. But yeah, very, very cool and unique to the Carrera GT. I haven't seen another road car that actually has that on it, so absolutely love it. There's loads of cool details. Come on, let's go. Help if I can find the door handle. Inside then, this is the hot seat, the driving position then. Let me get in. Let me get in here. Try not to scratch anything on the way in. I'm absolutely terrified. This is not a cheap car. So you'll see you're completely encased in carbon fiber. You've got this huge sill here, carbon all around the back of the seats, and ascot brown absolutely everywhere. Quite a fun fact, this steering wheel is actually the same as in my 996 Carrera 4S, which is quite cool. Very, very simple. There aren't any buttons on it. It's literally just a wheel. It is quite big. It's not flat bottom. There's no nonsense, but obviously the heart and soul of this car, the gearbox right here, it's actually right up almost shoulder level. Driving position is absolutely insane, and the pedals actually fold kind of forward, flat like that. The pedals are very close together as well, and there is a trick to getting started with this car as well. You've got to let off the clutch and then you can introduce some gas. But if you try and do both at the same time, you'll stall and everyone will laugh at you. Particularly in a car like this, people love to see them stall. All in all then, in terms of like hi-fi, infotainment, remember this is a car from 2006, so you don't really get any of that. You've got a couple of little screens in here, and then you've got one in the middle there with your audio. But to be honest with you, when you've got that V10 sat behind you, you're really not going to want to listen to Kiss 100. I don't think. Obviously then, this roof does come off. We might get it off today, who knows, but I've got to find somewhere to put it. It is a carbon roof as well. You've got carbon all around it and quilting in there as well. So it's not the sort of thing you just kind of take off and chuck on the floor. I've got to find somewhere to put that. God knows where, maybe in the Range Rover. So the seats then, there's no adjustability in these. These are fixed, but as with all Porsches actually, the driving position is amazing. You shouldn't feel any need to adjust them around. I'm 6'1", and I've got quite a nice driving position. There's loads of headroom. My legs are kind of stretched out and I've got more distance to go behind me. So if you are lanky and you're thinking of getting a Carrera GT, you'll be absolutely fine. Really cool seats as well. And these were actually replicated pretty much in the 918 Spider. They introduced a carbon version of these with little carbon inlets here, seatbelt vents or whatever on earth it is. We've got the Porsche crest in the headrest there. In terms of visibility out the back, all I can see is a big wing, but I can actually see quite a lot more than I could in my Aventador SV, and the blind spot is actually not so bad. It's actually a lot better. It seems a bit more usable than my Aventador SV, bizarrely. For now then, I am going to take it out and we're going to go for a little spin and see what this thing looks and sounds like on the move. So down the pits then, it's very, very, very visceral. Sounds like a racing car. You've got chatter and sort of clatter going on back there. Very, very raw. Check there's no one coming down here. Picking the speed up a little bit. As I was saying then earlier, I have got full use of Goodwood today on the circuit, but for insurance reasons and kind of higher reasons, I can't do over 50 miles an hour. So that's probably quite a good thing, to be honest with you. If you let me have free reign of the track in this car, I'd be in a bunch of daffodils by now. So let's just turn one, just there. Into fourth. There's this kind of whirring and clunking in the background. You can feel everything in the gearbox. It's absolutely insane. This is quite frankly unlike anything I've ever driven before. And we are going to give it a little bit of beans on the back straight. There are no noise meters there, so we will give it some beans. Don't you worry about that. We're actually being tailed by one of the course cars as well, so I can't go too mental. I've got a radio between my legs as well, and you'll hear them telling me off in a second. But to drive then, it feels like a modern car. It feels very planted, but you've got all that kind of whirring and clunking and a big old V10 behind me. An insane experience, to be honest with you. Driving this car on an empty Goodwood circuit, I never thought life would turn out like this, to be honest. There's also some boards that have been blown into the circuit as well. We just got one there. Chaotic stuff. Put it down into second there. And we can hear it a little bit. So here we go. Get the valves open. There we go. I don't want to get told off there. That's just a little teaser of what this thing sounds like. As I say, a Le Mans and an F1 derived V10 behind my head there. I can't wait to get this on some open road. So then that's all I've got time for here from Goodwood. I just want to say at this point a huge thank you for each and every one of you that watches my videos, comments on my Instagram stuff and all the rest of it. It's been a mad few years and I never thought we would end up at this point. So a real heartfelt thank you there for that. I also want to say a huge thank you to First Point UK Insurance, insuring me on this, insuring me on my watches, insuring me on my contents insurance. Huge thanks to them. And also a final thank you to Goodwood for allowing me exclusive access to the place. Absolutely ridiculous. I never thought I'd even do something like this, let alone pick up a car like that, but to do both of them together, insane. I'll leave their contact details below as well, so if you want to hire out the place or get involved in anything to do with Goodwood, do give them a shout. Thank you all so much for watching and I'll see you all very soon. Bye.